Alrighty guys, here we are again with another video today of something really interesting. A 1998 Mercedes-Benz V230. And today we actually have this young lady watching over the cinematography. A true redhead. A true and vibrant redhead. I actually know the artist that painted this. I don't know her personally, but a friend of mine is very good friends with her. So I kind of, I know her. I've met her before, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, true redhead watching over today. Over this beauty, the 1998 V230 by Mercedes-Benz. Some people also know these as Vitos. I don't know why this nomenclature changes from region to region. Some places call this the V230. Some places call this a Vito. I personally don't like the name Vito for this car. It's just weird. It's a V230. Just like every other Mercedes-Benz has a letter and some numbers after it. So this one is properly known as a V230. The chassis code on these is W638. And they are extremely rare to find in the USA. They were never imported here. And still to this day, not many people have imported them. There's probably only a handful, literally, of these in the USA. This is a 1998 model, and this one's from Japan. It was built in Vitoria, Spain. Vitoria, I'm sorry, not Vittorio. Vitoria, Spain. And but it was imported into Japan as a JDM model. And this is why we have a right-hand drive vehicle here. This one is for sale, like all my cars always are. So I'm gonna try to get into as much depth as I can on this particular one. So, as you can see, it's in very good shape, but it is a 1998 vehicle. It's got about 61,000 miles, 98,000 kilometers, which equates to about 61,000 miles. It's in good shape. It's not pristine, and I believe it has been repainted. The original color, I think this is the original color, but I do think it has been repainted at some time. These are extremely practical vehicles, tons of interior space, which is something that Mercedes-Benz was wanting to do when they were first designing this. They wanted to be the leader in the class of the MPV, as they're known, multi-purpose vehicles. And I think they did quite well with that. Volkswagen made a similar van, but I don't think it had as much interior space. I think this was the class leader in terms of interior space and practicality and cargo and stuff like that. But these are really neat. I love the wheels on them. You get that now classic 1990s kind of turbo speed look on those wheels. And then it being a JDM car, the Japanese love these deflectors on the windows. But it's an intriguing vehicle. It is front-wheel drive. It's the very first front-wheel drive Mercedes-Benz ever produced. I believe it's a 4-speed automatic transmission. It's a ZF automatic transmission. And they're really neat. A sliding door on each side, which back in those days was kind of uncommon. This one is known as the V230. Some are known as Vitos. I don't know why that nomenclature changes from region to region. I personally don't care for the name Vito for these vehicles. To me, the proper term is a V230. Just like every other Mercedes-Benz is a letter and numbers. This one, as I stated, it's not pristine. It's got some blemishes here and there. It's got chips and marks and different things like that. It's got curb rash on the wheels. It's got some corrosion, a little bit, nothing serious. It's not the Titanic, but it has a little bit of surface corrosion. I would say, when looking on the underbody and at the lug nuts on the wheels, lug bolts rather, you do see some corrosion. You also see some corrosion up here on the windshield wipers. I've done some work to this vehicle. I've replaced the windshield trim up there. I've replaced the blower motor. I've repaired the glove box that was not closing properly. I put a radio in it that is not the proper radio for the V230, but it is a Mercedes-Benz radio, and the next owner can put the model-specific one into it if they want, but I just wanted something to make it look more complete. I also replaced a window regulator in the passenger side. But that list of all my repairs and maintenance will be in the ad. Let's take a look at the interior. Let's go over here to the right-hand side, being this is a JDM vehicle. So as stated, right-hand drive. You have these really cool fabric seats with almost like little sailboats on there, I would call them. I really love this design. I think it's retro now. I think it's very 1990s, and I love seeing vehicles with fabric interiors here in the USA that we typically look at as luxury vehicles. In many parts of the world, Mercedes-Benz is not really looked at as a luxury vehicle, especially back in these times. But of course, that's primarily what we know it as in the USA. This driver's seat seems to have a cigarette burn or something, but I would say it does not smell like smoke in here. But I think there is evidence that this was smoked in. I also replaced these vents on both sides, and they came numbered from the folks that I bought it from. I don't know why, and you can see a 7 and an 8 over there. I didn't bother to take it off. You probably could get it off with some rubbing alcohol, but I didn't want to, blemish the color. I just figured I'll leave it on there and the next owner can deal with it. I did add a Mercedes-Benz radio that I had. It works. The front speakers do not work for some reason. But it is not the proper model for this particular vehicle. I also charged the AC, and the AC has been cooling great for 2 months now. So the AC does cool nicely. I did replace that door handle there. Unfortunately, I was not able to get one that perfectly color matched. I just wasn't able to find it. So, yeah, but it works. It's functional. It should be a matching tan, like this one here, but it is not. It's more of a gray. I love this these cassette storage right here. It's so neat. You could put all your cassette tapes in there, and really cool stuff. This actually does have a CD changer. There's a 6-disc changer in here, and I'll put pictures of it up on the ad. And there's also a DVD player in there. I don't see where screens ever were in this vehicle, but there is a DVD player in there, an Alpine DVD player. Tremendous amount of cargo room in here, and extremely practical. These seats one of the coolest things about the V230 is these seats and the third row, you can position them in different directions. So if you wanted to have these facing that way, you can. That way you can have 4 passengers all looking at each other. Or you could face all of them backwards or all of them forwards as such. Or you could position one backwards, anything you want. And it's very easy to do. They just pop out of each post there, and you can turn the seat and latch it back in. Also, something neat is this. Bear with me here while you can fold this down, and it actually acts as a table for the seat behind it. That's why it has this cutout here. It's a little dirty. I wiped it down, but there seems to be some staining. But it actually creates a little table here. Both of them do, of course. And then you can also grab it by this lever and pull it forward. And you have more cargo space, or it allows your passengers to get in easier. There are also tie-down points. So the vehicle's very practical. You have speakers back here, cup holder, an ashtray, a window button, and even a charging port there. When you want to put this back, you just simply put it back and it latches back. You pull this one, you lift her up, and there you have it. Super practical. Tremendous amount of interior space. Let's go to the back and check that out. This particular one is from, I think this is the name of the dealer in Japan, Yanase. And you also have this really cool, I don't know if you can see that there with the lighting, but a Mercedes-Benz of Japan sticker. I also replaced that star there. Check that out. You do have a first aid kit in here, and it's probably like a road triangle, I would say. A jack, and these areas can also be used as storage, I would say. You know, a good way to smuggle certain contraband, or, you know, hide cold hard cash, something like that. Your battery is located down here underneath the passenger seat. The headliner on this one is sagging, and the previous owner or somebody put it up with sewing needles on this side. It wasn't me, but it is sagging. Somebody has also held this visor together with some saran wrap, I think. That's an easy part to replace. I just haven't gotten around to it. Let's take a look at the engine bay. So this is a 2.3 liter four-cylinder. I believe this is the same engine that came in the C230 of the same era. There's your transmission down there. Like I said, this one is not pristine. It's got some areas that need some attention. Nothing serious, I don't think. The car drives very good. Mechanically, I think it's quite sound. But it's got little things here and there. You know, it's almost 30 years old. And for example, this windshield wiper reservoir is broken there, and the previous owner put some tape there. What I find really interesting about these is, in my opinion, they're kind of historical. Because you can look at this as the original, what later became the R-Klasse, and what also later became the Sprinter. The Sprinter, of course, has been wildly successful. It's still used tremendously today as cargo vans, passenger vans, and even RVs. And this was like their grandfather. This is what started it all. The W638 started that all for Mercedes-Benz, at least in the modern era. I know they had some older vans, but in the modern era, this is what started it all. You know, you could look at this as like the father of the R-Klasse and the grandfather of the Sprinter. Something like that. But anyway, it's kind of historical. It's what started the Mercedes-Benz modern passenger van. And I love stuff like that. I love the unique and the uncommon, and that's certainly what this is. I think the right buyer for this vehicle is someone like me. You know, this is not a luxury machine. It's not a luxurious Mercedes-Benz, but what it is something that will appeal to the guy who loves the unique, the unusual, the uncommon, and the rare. You're not going to see another one of these. You could drive around the entire country and you will not come across another W638 unless you intended to at some sort of a meet or something. But you're not just going to see one of these in the wild. And I like that kind of stuff. And I know there's a lot of people out there that like that kind of stuff. This is a really cool piece to take to your Cars and Coffee or your Mercedes-Benz Club of America meeting. Stuff like that. Look at her just staring at you through that window glare. Just reflecting off and looking at you like, buy it. Buy this V230 and take me for a ride, baby. That's what she's saying. There's a lot of room in there for her. Let's go ahead and take this baby for a drive. Well, let's hop in on the right-hand side. Oh, bear with me here. Safety first. AC's blowing nice and cold. Lock the doors. I don't know what this PW thing is. I haven't looked at the owner's manual, and quite frankly, it's in Japanese, so I'd have to get some sort of translation on it, but it's probably some sort of winter mode. I don't know. But let's take her for a spin. Into drive, and here we go. $98,713 kilometers. I'm not sure what this particular one was used for before being imported to the USA. It was imported to the USA 11 months ago. It was imported in October of 2023. But I have my suspicions that this particular one may have been used as some sort of a transport vehicle, maybe a taxi, or maybe a an Uber or something. I doubt Uber because it's too old. Or a hotel van or something. I don't know. This down here, I don't know if you can see that right there, that contraption, and this button in Japanese. I reached out to a friend of mine who lives in Japan, who is Japanese, and I asked him, because when you would turn the car on, it used to talk to you in Japanese. It would say something. It no longer does because I removed those wires to put the radio in, the Mercedes-Benz radio. But I asked him, what's it saying? And he said that it's a toll road reader or sensor. And I think that's it right there. And what it was saying in Japanese was the ECI, I think is what it's called, the ETC or the EIC, is not functioning, is what it would say. Because it wasn't plugged in, and you have to insert some sort of a card into that contraption. But that's what it was saying. It was actually kind of cool, because it would speak to you in Japanese. It no longer does that because I disconnected it. I'll tell you what, this V230 is one of the most comfortable vehicles I've ever had or driven in. I think, the fact that it's a nice captain's chair that's kind of elevated, and it's fabric, and it's just comfy. It's designed for longevity. This seat is designed for you to drive around for hours and hours, and super comfortable. And every single seat in this vehicle is like that because they're all the same. You have 6 captain's chairs in here. Really cool. This is a great vehicle also for somebody who, again, loves the uncommon and the kind of quirky, but they also need something practical and useful. They need something to take their buddies around on a golf trip or a fishing trip, or take the kids around, and they want something neat and fun to do it in. That's what this is for, at least at this point in its life. I mean, as you can see, it drives nice. It's comfy, it drives smooth, the transmission works well. It doesn't have a lot of power. I think it only has 143 horsepower, so it's quite slow. But, once you get up and moving, it's good. It's a great little van. I love it. And one thing that Mercedes-Benz tried to do in these was create a tremendous amount of interior space while keeping the exterior space minimal. Apparently this is, I think, shorter actually than the E-Klasse of the same era, and only 7 centimeters wider. It's hot today. 35 Celsius, which is like 90 something, I think. That thermometer, exterior thermometer, appears to be accurate still. Pretty cool. The van is in good working order. The brakes feel good. It drives nice. The transmission shifts well. It's a good, solid vehicle. Yeah, there's some things about, like this saran wrap thing, and over here there's some blue discoloration on that grab handle. There's a crack right there in the plastic. I mean, look, it's a 1990s Mercedes-Benz. I mean, they built these things out of like more plastic than, a Barbie doll's playhouse. So you're gonna get things like that no matter what Mercedes-Benz you get from the 90s. But if you're cool with that, and you're a big fan of these 1990s Benz like I am, this is a great one to have. I can also see like an independent mechanic who specializes in Mercedes-Benz or BMW or Porsche or something like that using this as a parts hauler or a transport vehicle for their customers, a shuttle, something like that. Or somebody wants to turn this into a camper. Who knows? Look who we're passing. Look who we're passing right there. Good old Red. Big Red. Going about 105 kilometers per hour there. Which is about, 67 miles per hour? Something like that? I don't know. Engine runs at good temperature. The tachometer works. The clock works. I mean, there's not a whole lot to tell you guys. It's a good, solid van. I've enjoyed it. Like I said, I love stuff like this. And I love just experiencing cars that we don't get here in America, or cars that are not like particularly sexy, but they're interesting and there's a mystique and an intrigue behind them. I love that kind of stuff. Like my Honda Acti. I don't know. That's just what I'm into. I'm into quirky stuff like that. So this test drive is almost over. I'm gonna pull us into the shopping center over here, give you guys one more look at the exterior, and then we'll call it a day. Look at that, a Seat. You don't see many of those throughout the rest of the USA, but here in El Paso, since we're right on the border with Mexico, we see a lot of these. Also Spanish built, I believe. So two Spaniards here. One via Mexico, one via Japan. Let's go ahead and pull in here. Again, built in Vitoria, Gaiz, Spain. Pretty neat. Got these folks looking at me like, look at this guy filming. Nobody minds their own business these days. And they look at me like I'm an alien because I'm filming, but it's like, Isn't that extremely common now? People with cameras filming everything, documenting everything. Anyway. Well, they were probably also wondering, what the hell is this guy doing sitting on the right-hand side of this van? That always throws people off. Anyway. Here you go, guys. 1998 Mercedes-Benz V230. Get it while it's hot. Get it while you can. If you guys have any questions, let me know. You can reach out to me somehow, some way, and we'll have a discussion, as we always do, about everything on my channel. Guys, thanks for watching, and I'll be back with you again soon with something else cool. Thank you, guys.